Thank you very much. Okay, so good evening. Welcome to the 30th, August 20th, 2020, 5 o'clock p.m. remote meeting participation of the Office of Zoning Board of Appeals. Before we get started, I have some administrative housekeeping to tend to, so I'll do that first. We have 2 public hearings on the agenda this evening, and anyone who's interested in either participating or watching, you can do so by calling on your phone 1-646-749-3112, using the access code 944-571-349. Or you can join on your computer by going mobile.gotomeeting.com, and you're going to join meeting number 944-571-349. So, before I go any further, we have a remote participation script that I'm required to read for the governor's order. I'm going to start that. So the first thing we're going to do is confirming that our members are present and at the preliminary matter. My name is Robert Taylor. I'm the chair of the Office of Zoning Board of Appeals. In an effort to reduce background noise, I'm asking you to all please make sure that you mute your phones, as I'm going to do right now. Okay. And at this time, and only unmute if you're going to speak, please. Permit me to confirm that all members of the person anticipated on the agenda are here today. So when I call your name, if you could just respond, please. Vice Chair Mike Marin. I'm here, Rob. Thank you. Mr. Chicolo. Mr. Chicolo. I don't see him signed in this evening yet, but we can connect that. Caleb, are you aware if Mr. Chicolo is here or not?
I have not heard from him or seen him sign on yet.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Custy. There. Thank you, sir. We know that from a previous email that we all received that Megan Rose will not be present tonight. So as a result, I'll be bringing Mr. Peter Jones, who I can see on the screen, up to full voting member. Mr. Jones, are you present, sir? Thank you. And Caitlin Bush. Thank you. Good evening. So now we move on to town officials. Town officials and employees participating. When I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Building Commissioner Caleb Moody.
Here.
DDIS Director Darlene Coyle.
She's not with us yet. She may join us later.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, and this is the open meeting of the Town of Auburn Zoning Board of Appeals, excuse me. For Thursday, August 20th, 2020. Now calling to order at 5 o'clock p.m. This meeting is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Bates' executive order on March 12, 2020. Due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public assemblies, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirements of open meeting law. They have all members of public bodies are allowed to encourage to participate remotely. The order, to which you will find posted on the agenda of materials for this meeting on the town's website, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely, so as long as reasonable public access is afforded, that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the ZBA, Zoning Board of Appeals, is convening by remote participation for the public only. Although some staff may be physically located in the selectmen's meeting in the town hall, the town employees are practicing social distancing in accordance with the governor's orders. Excuse me. For the public to join the meeting remotely, as I stated earlier, but we'll say it again, you can call by telephone 1-646-749-3112 and enter access code 944-571-349. Or the public can join via computer, you go to meeting.com, go-to-meeting.com, and then join meeting number 944-571-349. Remote access information has been posted on the town's website as well. Please note that this meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television, and accordingly, those members of the ZBA, employees, and members of the public who participate, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and please take care. This conference will now be recorded. Anything that you may broadcast may be captured by the reporters. Meeting materials. All supporting materials that have been provided to the members of this body are available on the town's website. Public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. Meeting business ground rules. So here we get to go how we're going to get into the meeting this evening very shortly. We're going to turn over to the first item on the agenda, and before we do so, please permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and fair conduct of our business to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, Robert Tinko, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comments, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait for the chair to yield before you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in discussion with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself first. After the members have spoken, the chair will report public comments as follows. The chair will first ask members of the public who wish to speak to identify their names and address. Once the chair has a list of all public commentators, I will call on each by name and report 3 minutes for comments. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. And if we do by chance have any technical difficulties, the chair will suspend the meeting while attempts to resolve them are made, and then also to keep accurate minutes noting any disconnections and reconnections for the members. Okay, so now the housekeeping has been taken care of. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Do I have a motion to call the meeting to order and open the hearing?
Michael Maron, Vice Chair. I'll make the motion to open the meeting.
Great, thank you. Do I have a second?
Yeah, Rich Custody, I'll second.
Thank you, sir. We'll go right down the line. Has Mr. Chicola joined us yet, by any chance? Still not seeing him, Caleb, but do you agree?
Yeah, you might want to bring Caitlin forward.
Okay, so right now we have not seen that Mr. Chicola was logged into the meeting or is available this evening, so I'm going to move Caitlin Bush forward, the full voting member. Caitlin, are you aware of that? Yes. Excellent, thank you so much. Okay, so we have Michael Maron, are we open it? Mr. Jones, we open the meeting. Yes. And Caitlin, do you agree to open the meeting, Ms. Bush? Yes. Great, thank you. Okay, so the 5 o'clock p.m. applicant, Rocco J. Antonelli Jr., requesting a special permit under section 9.3.1.2 of the open zoning bylaws for an accessory apartment on property located at 70 Curtis Street, Armour, map 20, parcel 16. So is the applicant present?
I am.
Thank you. And before I begin, allow you to make your statement, do we have any letters for this hearing present this evening? And if you are, could you please identify yourself by name and address? All right, I'll give a countdown of letters present. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I see no letters present that are interested in speaking on behalf of this hearing. I will just open for potential future comments during the hearing, but if that's the case, then we'll continue to move forward. So, sir, Mr. Antonelli, are you here?
I am.
Thank you. Would you mind spending a few minutes going over what your intention is and the overall size of your project, please?
Okay, this is a pre-existing apartment and has been an accessory apartment under prior owners. Myself and Gary Desir, who is also online, are acquiring the property and Gary plans to reside in the property with his wife, and he would like to rent the lower level. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. As you can see the dimensions on the plan I submitted. It's a 1-bedroom with open areas and a study. The dimensions are 22 by approximately 40 or approximately 880 square feet is down a flight of stairs from the driveway and entry into the rear of the building. The basement level of this house is actually at grade in the rear.
Would you mind scrolling just so we can see the actual property pictures again, please? I'm not sure who has control over that.
I don't have control of that.
Yeah, I know you don't. I'm asking whoever is in taking
So here's the front. Now behind that automobile is a flight of stairs that goes down to the lower level, and this is the entry. Oh, slow down. Those are the stairs. Go back up a little bit. Go back up to the next picture. And this is the rear of the house. As you can see, the accessory apartment is at grade. The bedroom has egress, as shown on the plan. What else?
I just want to be clear.
I'm sorry. It has called legal egress window and egress through that door. That's the bedroom.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Continue, sir.
Okay. I don't know what else you would like to know about the accessory apartment.
Do we know when this apartment was it built this way? Was it added on? Do we know any of this?
I have no idea. I know the prior owner, who had passed away, had a tenant in that space, and I believe it was listed as an accessory apartment according to the head of inspectional services. And when it was constructed, I have no idea.
Okay, I appreciate that. So we have a pre-existing apartment looking for a special permit. I'm going to go ahead and, as we usually do not have any abutters present. We'll go ahead and go around and ask all the individual members if they have any questions. So, Vice Chair Maron, do you have any questions of the applicant?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I question the applicant, I'd like to pull Caleb in. So Caleb, what history do we know of any inspections or any authorization for this apartment to exist?
I'm not aware of any inspections at the property.
Is the town aware that this apartment existed prior to this hearing?
Probably not, no. I can't speak for everyone, but I was not aware of it.
Okay.
I was under the impression that it was actually listed on your assessor's card.
Yeah, so the assessor's card lists what's there. That doesn't mean that it was inspected by anybody but the assessor.
All right, I'm sorry. Okay.
So, Mr. Antonelli, what's the size of this apartment, the square footage?
It's approximately 840 square feet.
Okay. So, that is 22 by 40. Is it?
22 by 40.
So, going by the drawing that we were submitted, and I asked you that to confirm for the record, I came up with, if I use say 25.8, or well, let's just go with 41.7 on length, 22.4.
If I got that incorrect, I apologize. I look at plans all day, and I drew that one, but I don't have that.
Okay, so it's not a step, but I think for the record we need to get the size of this.
Okay, so it's 40 by 22?
So,
41 by 22?
So if that's a question to me, what I have in front of me is a set of plans that speaks to 41.7 by 22.4.
Right.
Which yields me just shy over 900 square feet.
Okay.
And so, for the board's consideration, Mr. Chairman, that yields up north of a little better than 200 square feet above what our bylaw calls for, and a 700 square foot accessory apartment approval.
Okay, that's actually very good information to have. I appreciate that for vetting that, Vice Chair Maron. I'm going to move on to Mr. Cussy. Do you have any comments or questions of the applicant? Mr. Cussy.
Yeah, I have no question. I just with Mike, the square footage, a couple hundred feet over.
Right. I mean, we're into this one of these situations here that, obviously built without permits. At some point now we're going to address this in the future, I think, but for now, I think we've got to kind of look at this and see what we can do with it. I mean, pre-existing is going to be a challenge for us, I know that.
May I ask a question? When you calculate square footage of apartments, is it gross or net?
So it's going to be, it really doesn't matter. We just go by what the plans say. We're going to do the math on it, wall space, window space, all that stuff we don't really worry about. It's going to be light times, wood times height. That's pretty much standard building construction requires. We have a bylaw in town that is a certain percentage and a maximum allowable square feet, and that's why we do that with a building permit. But when people in the past come and they put these things in, they don't tell anybody, and now it presents the board with a challenge because we know that people want to purchase the property or live in the property, and it's no fault of the current owner or the current situation, but does the board move forward and allow this to happen without the modifications, or does it, does it make you take 200 square feet off, and it's not your punishment, but, it's not intended to do that, but it's intended to conform the bylaw for a reason.
That's why I asked whether or not it was gross or net.
I mean, again, gross on that really, in this case, 200 square feet is not going to really much of a difference. We're going to either allow you to keep it based on what the board's opinion is, or we're going to require it to be removed based on what the board says,
All right. I understand.
I'm going to move over to Mr. Jones. Do you have any questions, concerns, or comments of the applicant, sir?
I do not.
Thank you. And Ms. Bush, do you have any questions or comments of the applicant?
Yeah. What is the size of the other part of the house, not the apartment?
It's a mirror image of this.
Okay, so it's around the same size square footage?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
Other than taking out for the foundation wall.
Okay. That's the only question I had.
All right. So I'm going to go to Caleb for a minute here and have a couple of questions of you, sir. Then we can kind of leave the discussion with the board. But so you have not personally, or one of your designees has not inspected this property yet?
No.
Okay. And just to be clear, and I guess I'm asking this as a general question, the property is currently for sale, and Mr. Antonelli, you're interested in purchasing? Is that what's going on?
Myself and Gary Desir, who's going to live here.
Okay, so who is the current owner of the property? Because that's really what we have to get to the bottom of here.
Okay, so it's an estate. It's the estate of Richard Daniels.
The estate of Richard Daniels. All right, so again, Caleb, going back to you again then. I mean, how are we authorized to actually issue this gentleman a special permit, considering he's not even on the property yet, and he's interested in purchasing? When we have an estate issue, I believe the attorney for the estate should be representing this interest.
They actually signed off on the application.
Yeah, through the chair.
Yes, sir.
The prospective buyer does have the ability to apply for the special permit as a condition of the sale.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we were all clear on that because I've usually had the current owner come before us, and it's not often that we have a prospective buyer come before. All right, so with all the information we have here, and we can legally move forward with the prospective buyer, do we have any abutters that have been in the meeting since our discussion began? Thank you very much. I'm sorry, who's speaking, please? Okay, so I'll give you a countdown on abutters joining for the second time with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So,
Mr. Chairman, before I do have a couple of follow-up questions. for the applicant before we move on to board discussions, if I may.
Yes, please.
Mr. Antonelli,
Yes.
we'd understand that this apartment exists currently with all the fixtures, all the rooms that are before the diagram?
As drawn, yes.
Okay, and when is the last time that this apartment was inhabited by a tenant?
I'm going to guess right prior to the passing of Mr. Daniels, which was actually it was occupied even after Mr. Daniels passed away, because I know the children were dealing with the tenant that was in there. So I would say maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I'm just guessing. I think that's what Adam Daniels had said.
Can you guys hear me?
You know, the estate.
All right, go on. Mr. Antonelli, can you hold on for a second, please? I have some other people that are trying to... Sure. Who else is trying to speak in here, please?
My name is James Tobin. I'm the real estate broker handling the sale for Adam Daniels, who is one of the sons of Mr. Daniels who passed away. And I believe he had, I believe the people left sometime like maybe February or March of this spring. But Mr. Daniels had passed away last June, so it's been a little over a year since he passed away. The tenants just moved out this past February or March.
So I know that the estate, so he has, I'm assuming the estate is handling the sale. There is no history or recollection of when this apartment was installed or when this house was split to make this apartment or what happened?
I don't have that. Mr. Daniels, I don't know if he knows any type of an exact date. I would say, you know, it's been there quite a while. I know it seems on the assessor's card as well, as Caleb had mentioned earlier, that it's on there, but I don't know about it in terms of inspections on anything.
So right now, we're not going to make any decisions this evening regardless. So I'm going to just recommend to the board that we always inform this in the past that now that this apartment has been revealed to us, first and foremost is the safety inspection. So we're not sure now, but if you kind of stop that, please. All right, somebody's got some wind or something in the background noise. If we can kind of kill all lights for a second so we can keep going. Thank you. Okay, so I was saying, generally speaking, when these apartments are revealed to us, first and foremost, it has to be a safety inspection. So what I'm going to recommend to the board is that we continue the meeting until a future date of such time that will afford the building commissioner and his designees, which would be, you know, plumbing, electrical, whatever it might be, to have a full and comprehensive inspection of the property and report back to us before we make any further motions. And honestly, because we're just basically, we're wasting meeting time at this point. So, Mr. Marin, may I ask for your advice or opinion on that, sir?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I would agree that it needs to be inspected. I take issue with these types of applications in that we find ourselves in a position where we're asked to support something that's essentially been constructed out of the view of the town. So, at a minimum, you know, I would, and we would certainly add conditions on that. At a minimum, I think we have two things before us. One, that it does require, or at least warrant, a safety inspection of this dwelling, and then secondarily, we think the square footage needs to be taken into account before we consider any level of approval.
I agree, and that's why I was saying, I know, you know, we've discussed this in the past. I'm grateful that this apartment has been revealed to us because, you know, we've had this mission for several years now, trying to get these things on the books and inspected. I think we should take the square footage issue up at a future meeting and decide how we can choose to handle it that might be beneficial to all parties involved, or at least able to resolve it amicably. And then, again, you know, let's move forward with a safety inspection and then, you know, deal with the square footage at a future meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I don't disagree, but this particular applicant has, in my view, and I'll just show my card here, this particular applicant has locked in, this is a certain footprint, I would expect that they're not going to change the footprint for this. And so, again, showing light cards up or down, this is too large to approve for accessory apartment based on our bylaws.
Okay, I agree. So, and that's fine. I'm not looking to approve or deny tonight. Like I said, I'd like to have the board continue and advocate for safety inspections before we move any further.
I don't disagree. You have my full support.
Should I schedule that with Caleb?
I'm sorry, sir?
Should I schedule that with Caleb?
Well, we have to go through the formalities of making sure that all the other members of the board agree first. We have to vote on that, close the hearing, and then after that, if the board sees fit to move forward with that recommendation, then I would refer you to Caleb for a scheduling, yes.
So, through the chair, point of order, the applicant would need to request a continuance before a vote's taken.
Okay, so you're right, and I will get to that in a minute. I just want to make sure that I'm going to go around the horn, make sure everybody's on the same page first, and then we'll go ahead and instruct them on those steps. So I have an agreement from Mr. Chicolo, excuse me, I apologize, Mr. Naring, to continue this particular hearing informally. We have not discussed it in terms of a motion or request yet. I'm just looking for opinions. So that's, Mr. Cussy, do you have any questions or opinions of the applicant one more time? Mr. Cussy.
I'm on board with you and Mike. Let's continue.
All right, thank you. So, Mr. Jones.
I am on board, but I do have one question that I think Mr. Moody might be able to help us out.
Sure.
And that is there a comparable process for converting a single family into a two-family rather than a single family with an accessory apartment?
I'll yield the floor to you, Caleb. Mr. Jones' question was, would this be more practical to maybe split it into a two-family regarding the process here?
Yes, the applicant does have the ability to apply for a special permit for a two-family.
Wouldn't that be a variance?
No. What?
I didn't think two families were allowed in this zone.
What's the zoning district?
I should know this. Isn't it? 1 second, Caleb.
If I'm not mistaken.
I believe it's RA, and that's single family.
Yep, special permit for a two-family.
So it would not be variance, it would be a special permit. So that's an option to you as well, sir. If, the square footage that is not appealing to certain members of the board, and I completely agree and understand that. So that is an option for you to weigh out between now and then as well. Okay. You might find that particular avenue somewhat more agreeable and appealing. I am not suggesting that it would be, but I would suggest that now that it's been brought up wisely by Mr. Jones, I would suggest that you explore both of those forks in the road, so to speak.
So, according to your assessment card, it's RB, not RA, single family?
RB is also special permit for a two-family.
Okay, great. Thank you.
There are requirements, lot size requirements and such.
I'm sorry, who's speaking again, please?
That was Caleb. There are lot size requirements for the two-family, but it is achievable by a special permit.
All right, so I think what we have here then, we all know that there's a possibility of kids going in a couple different directions. We also know that we agree that we're not going to move forward this evening. But anyway, Ms. Bush, you have thoughts and feelings last time around?
I have nothing.
Okay, thank you. So, to the applicant, Mr. Antonelli, you can see where, the board is receptive to some ideas. I think the problem here is that you're coming here, as other applicants have in the past, looking to try to get an apartment that was not declared back on the books. So we have to go through a process here. It's not going to be something that's going to be easily untangled. So what we want to do is you can schedule, if the board agrees and you want to request a continuance, the board will make a motion on that. You can schedule safety adjournment for a future meeting. Is that something you would be interested in doing?
I would like to request a continuance.
Great. So the applicant, thank you, sir. The applicant has requested a continuance, as stated, for the purpose of initially getting a safety inspection. Do I have a motion to accept the applicant's request for continuance?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to accept as stated.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Rich Coffey, second.
Thank you, Mr. Coffey. Mr. Jones, your vote?
Agreed.
Thank you. Ms. Bush, your vote?
Agreed.
Thank you. And I vote in the affirmative as well. So you can make arrangements with Caleb to get these inspections completed. Caleb will provide us with a report at a future meeting that you will attend, and then we will discuss square footage and other items on the agenda that may come up between now and then.
That sounds very good. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Antonelli. I appreciate your time. Do I have a motion to close the hearing?
Motion to close the hearing, Mr. Chairman. Actually, Mr. Chairman, point of order is, as we approved to continue, I don't believe we closed the hearing.
Oh, you're right. I apologize. So I will move the hearing. For the purpose of this meeting, we will move on, but for the record, the meeting itself will remain open in the town hall in the event any abutters or interested parties have a desire to comment or become part of the next meeting. So if I have that agreement, as I have just stated, Mr. Maron, you agree with that?
I agree, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Coffey?
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Great. Ms. Bush?
I agree.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, so that meeting has been, this particular hearing, we will move forward on and remain open to town hall, and the applicant will reach out to Caleb. Thank you. All right, so let's get a minute here, 30 seconds, so everybody kind of switch around. And we have 5:05 p.m. applicant Eastland Partners Incorporated requesting a comprehensive permit under Mass General Law, Chapter 40B, for the workforce housing apartments on property located at 109 Pinker Hill Road, Auburn, Mass, map 59, parcel 8 and 26, Albert Street, Auburn, and map 65, parcel 71. This particular meeting is a continuation from the 5/21, 6/18, and 7/16/2020 meetings. Is the applicant present?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We have Clay Williams with Eastland Partners and Steve O'Connell with Turning Point Engineering.
Great, thank you. Do I have a motion to open the hearing?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion, but again, I believe this is a continuation from a prior hearing, so I believe we remain open.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so for the record, Mr. Maron is taking care of my administrative responsibilities this evening, and I actually really appreciate that. So, we're going to continue on then, correct? So, gentlemen, if you want to bring us up to speed, let us know where you're at, we can move forward from there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since the last meeting, we've had some more back and forth with the town's review agent, VHB. We also received comments from the Auburn Fire Department. I'll defer to Steve to talk about these comments and their responses.
present, if you could identify yourself one at a time by giving us your name and address, please. All right, so it appears as though, unless we have any technical difficulties that I do not see, we do not have any abutters present this evening that would like to speak. Is that correct? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, I'll give you the 5-second countdown. We'll move along and we'll let the comments from the board. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Mr. Marin, sir, do you have any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, the letter that we have before us by Caleb, I just wanted to give Caleb an opportunity to see if he wanted to address any of these points directly.
Okay, I'll defer the floor to Caleb.
Just
Mr. Mooney, if you have anything you'd like to clear up about the letter?
Just to clarify, the letter was addressed to me from Captain Moore and from Auburn Fire. So these are concerns.
Okay,
these are concerns of Captain Moran's.
Right, understood. So are there any points here that you wanted to address or the applicant addressed tonight?
As the applicant stated that they were unable to get in touch with Captain Moran prior to the meeting, so my suggestion would be that they go over these points with Captain Moran prior to our next meeting.
Okay, thank you, Caleb. Mr. Chairman, I don't have any questions. Yeah.
thank you so much. Mr. Cussy.
Yeah, how are we making out with the sewer and water situation?
So far, so good. We've been in contact constantly with the Auburn Water District. As we've discussed in the past, their connection to the Worcester sewer system is progressing nicely. So, we're very optimistic about that situation and the project being serviced through that connection. It's actually still not relying on that. That's just something that would be extra beneficial. I know that Auburn Water District would feel more comfortable providing the project water if they had water connection to the Worcester system. So with regards to sewer, we're also going to be having a letter from the Auburn Water District stating that we're working jointly on a joint venture for that physical connection to Worcester when that needs. The sewer study is still underway. We got word today that we expect the results of that study to be issued as early as this week. And again, we're optimistic based on what we know and what we believe and what we've analyzed that the sewer connection again will be permitted.
Okay, and we'll be able to handle the flow. What I understand, we're almost at maximum flow now with the infrastructure that we have.
That's what the study that Eastland commissioned that's being performed is going to confirm. This earlier discussion seemed to have some conflict about what the infrastructure actually was or what we've learned since then. That was very promising.
Okay, and water,
No, I'm sorry. I was dealing with something else very briefly. I apologize. So, Mr. Cuffey, you're all set. Can we move on to Mr. Jones, please? Do you have any questions or concerns of the applicant, sir?
I do not. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bush?
Not at this time, please.
Great, thank you. Okay. Do I have any other butters that have joined the meeting that might have any other questions or concerns right now? Okay. Hearing none, seeing none. So basically, we are just receiving an update this evening on where your status is, I believe. And you're working towards resolving the issues that you've seen in the letters, and then, you still have your sewer and water issues to go through. Is that correct, gentlemen?
Well, what I would say to that, Mr. Chairman, is with regards to sewer and water, that's kind of a separate issue. Would not prevent the board from issuing a comprehensive permit for this project. It would be conditioned. But, we feel as though we're very close to the finish line here with all of VHB's technical comments being addressed. With no additional input from abutters or from board members, again, I think we're really close. We'd like permission, from the board to work with Caleb and staff to prepare a draft decision, so we can start to work out any bugs that might come through that process.
Sure. Well, that's kind of, I deliberately asked that question to make sure that we all understood what the intent of the hearing was this evening. What is your anticipated date of actually moving forward with all this information that we are working with tonight?
Do you mean by moving forward, you mean by potentially starting construction?
Correct, yes.
Well, upon successful issuance of a comprehensive permit and the subsequent appeal period, we need to go back to DHCD for final project, close, administrative process that can take about 60 days. Then there's some financing things that generally happen in construction, and then some pre-construction tasks. I would say that we're probably looking at some springtime mobilization to the site.
Okay. Yeah, this is why I'm asking these questions, because I want the members of the board, the public that's here, listening at home, so we're all kind of up to speed in what's going on with this. I'm going to refer to Caleb for a moment, if I may, please. Caleb, do you have anything you'd like to add regarding any concerns or issues that you've seen with all of this documentation that would prevent us from moving forward this evening as the applicant requested?
I don't have any concern with the applicant presenting a draft decision. I'd advise against voting on the project until the traffic study is completed. And I will say that there is no water on site as of today. So that's the board's pleasure how they want to treat that. But building permits can't be issued without water.
Right. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to go back around one more time. We've gathered this new information. Mr. Marin, your thoughts, sir?
Mr. Chairman, so you can elaborate on your question, thoughts specifically on?
So we've kind of mined this information here regarding what the status of the project is and what their intent is. I just want to know if you had anything that you're concerned with comprehensive permits or draft decisions, that type of thing.
I think that I'll be blunt. I think that we know the outcome of this. I think that if there are any conditions that we would levy, we should wait until the end of the process, until all their I's are dotted and T's are crossed. But again, I think as far as how this moves forward, for me, it's predetermined.
Right, it is. Correct, I agree. Okay, Mr. Coffey? Mr. Coffey? You're muted, sir, if you're trying to respond, just so you know.
Sorry. Yeah, I definitely want to see the traffic study. Sewer and water, without water,
is actually having an invitation sent to a couple of the key individuals of the water department to join the next meeting. We can get some clarification from them, and we can also get some clarification for the folks at home that are abutters and neighbors and interested in this project. So, with that being said, do I have a motion on this particular hearing at this time?
Through the chair, point of order, we would need the applicant to request a continuance if that's what they were looking to do.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you. Based on what you've heard this evening, gentlemen, I think we're going to probably continue this for another month if it's okay with, well, if you could request the continuation. I think the board is going to be really interested in finding out how we're going to handle this water and sewer situation first.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, we'll expect to have a letter from the Auburn Water District before the next meeting. I think, as you pointed to earlier, your water supply in town has been identified through a number of different studies, and that is kind of the reason why we were pursuing this joint venture with them to make that connection. Not only just to service water to us, but also to the rest of the community. So with that being said, we'd like to request a continuance to the September ZBA meeting.
Great. Thank you so much. So, members of the board, as you heard, I have a request for a continuation to the September 17th meeting. Do I have a motion on the applicant's request for continuance?
Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion as stated to continue.
Thank you, Mr. Maron. Do I have a second?
Yeah, Rich Cuffey.
Thank you, Cuffey. Mr. Jones? Agreed. Thank you. Ms. Bush? Agreed. Thank you. And I also agree that we will make a continuation to the next meeting. So as the formality goes, that this meeting will remain open for people at the town hall should they want to get up to date, make comments, make some questions, concerns, whatever that may be. And the next scheduled meeting on this matter will be the September 17th, 2020 Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate it. And before we move forward again, we'll give you guys a chance to clear out, and then I'll do the administrative stuff with the rest of the board.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good night. Thank you.
Okay, so I see several people. We have like a couple of initials up here. Is there anyone present that has any concerns or questions that want to speak? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, thank you very much. So, we don't have anything else on the agenda. The minutes for April 23rd, 2020. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes of the meeting from April 23rd, 2020 as submitted and written?
And I'll make the motion as stated.
Thank you, Mr. Maron. Do I have a second?
Mr. Cuffey, second.
Thank you. Mr. Jones? Agreed. Thank you. Ms. Bush? Agreed. Great. Thank you so much. The minute has been accepted as submitted and written. We have nothing else left. The next Zoning Board of Appeals meeting is September 17th, 2020. Do I have a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting?
Chairman, motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Maron. Do I have a second?
Mr. Cuffey, second.
Thank you. Mr. Jones? Agreed. Thank you. Ms. Bush?